All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. I have a super special pair of guests on today from the USO. I have Lauren Kovaleski and Danielle Haro. They are here today to talk about how the USO serves military spouses with the USO Pathfinder Transition program. And I'd like to let Lauren introduce herself and a little bit about her background, and then Danielle, and then we will talk about what the USO does for spouses. Lauren?
Thanks, Jamie. My name is Lauren Kovaleski. I am a site manager for the USO Pathfinder Transition program. I'm an active duty military spouse. My husband is in the Army, and we're currently stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I've been with USO for just over 4 years, started at Fort Riley, Kansas with the transition program. I'm just really excited to be here today. So thanks.
Danielle?
Yes, thank you so much, Jamie, for having us. My name is Danielle Haro. I'm a program development specialist for our USO Transition program. I've been with the program since it began a few years back, but a veteran spouse now. My husband is an Army veteran, so it's just such an honor to continue the great work that the USO is doing. So thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So, ladies, I wanted to have you guys hash out. You can pick who goes on what topic, but I want one of you to talk about, in general, what the USO does and who they serve and how they serve them. And then I want another one of you to specifically talk about the Pathfinder Transition Program and how they serve military spouses.
Absolutely. I'll jump right in and just really talk about the USO in general. So if you haven't heard about us, or maybe some of your memories or experiences with us have been at an airport lounge or at a center that's on a military installation, or maybe you can even remember those fond times of, the Bob Hope, events and such. So we're here to tell you more about how we also work with, as Jamie said, with military spouses, but really just, hopefully you can see the trend that the USO, we're just on this mission of connection, any way possible that we can help our service members and spouses. Spouses very much included in that journey, right? Because the military journey is an awesome one, right? An interesting one. But really just as a USO, we always want to make sure that we're there by your side to help keep you connected to family, home, country, all the things that are near and dear to your heart, as a gesture of gratitude for your service to our country. So military spouses, just an extra shout out to you all. Thank you so much for the sacrifices you make. I think we can all here attest to what those are like. So it's really, really awesome to talk specifically to how we support spouses. As I said, we know the military journey can be adventurous and lots of changes. So we do have our Pathfinder Transition program to help with that journey. And what I can't emphasize enough is it's at any point on that journey. Although we have the name transition in our program name, it's not just for that transition from one installation to the next. So I just want to make sure I throw that out there from the get-go. You can be experiencing lots of transitions in your career as you're supporting your service member in their service. So Lauren she's an absolute subject matter expert because she's one of our boots on the ground that is directly working with military spouses. So I will let her share more details about exactly how we do that and how do we connect spouses to those career resources that Jamie mentioned.
Thanks, Danielle. Yeah, so I love that she used that word connector, and I'm going to steal this from her. That's one of the extensions from the USO as a whole all the way to USO Transitions, and we want to be a critical connector. And so with the Pathfinder Transition program, we do that through a holistic approach to transition. Like Danielle said, it's not necessarily just transition from active duty to veteran status, it's transition of military spouses PCS, as they plan for what's next, lots of different things. And so we focus on active duty service members, National Guard, Reserve, and then military spouses at any point during their service members' active duty career. And we do that through helping you get connected to resources and opportunities based on your specific situation, the specific goals you have in mind, and helping you plan for what's going to come next in your life. And so we do that by one-on-one with what we call transition specialists. They're kind of our career coaches, case managers, whatever you want to, we get called lots of different things. And we're going to do that one-on-one with the individual. And we do that by connecting you to resources, and we focus on employment, education, financial readiness, mentorship, and increased access to veteran benefits.
That's awesome. And so I am personally a recipient of those USO airport lounge experiences. I've slept in there many times in my military career back in the day. And it's not always on the tip of the tongue. When you think of USO, you don't think transition, you don't think career services, you don't think connecting to career resources. So I'm happy to share out anything I can to help my military spouses connect to career resources. Back in the day, my own story with USO is when I used to work for the Army SFL TAP program in Colorado at Fort Carson. I was down the hall. I was a neighbor to the USO Pathfinder program. And at that time, it used to be called RP6. And I got really well acquainted with Ron Creta. He's, I believe, still there in Colorado. And I've spoken with him recently. And it was just an amazing resource. They literally had their feelers all around the area with employers, with people that provided career resources. And it was just an amazing, an amazing resource to send our transitioning service members there at the time. Little did I know as a military spouse, the ample resources available through USO for me. So I'm amazed I'm happy to share you guys out and get the word out about the USO Pathfinder Transition program. Do you ladies have any tips or tricks for military spouses to maximize the benefit that they can get from going through and utilizing USO Pathfinder Transition?
Absolutely. And I just want to say thanks for sharing that. I love hearing that story, and you've known about us since our early years. So yes, Ron is still there. Shout out to Ron. But in terms of your question, I would say what comes to mind first is just, this is for you. Please don't ever feel like you are an afterthought or a second thought or an add-on. Hopefully us being here today and what we've shared so far, the message is loud and clear that we are here for you. So that's number one. And number two, I would say just don't be shy to put yourself out there. Be proud of who you are and what you bring to the table as a mil spouse. I know we're, certainly in LinkedIn, but my other advice is kind of pay it forward and get other mil spouses to kind of break out of their shelves and dive into LinkedIn and really just grab the reins and build your career, because you have a lot to offer. And I'm just so grateful to people like Jaime, who, are just doing lots of great work around supporting military spouses and helping you grow that career journey. So that's kind of a big picture. Hopefully that wasn't too cheesy, but I know, Lauren, I'll let you share any reactions you had to.
Cheesy is good, we could all use a little bit of cheesy right now. No, but, I think the other thing we want to reiterate is we've mentioned Colorado, we've mentioned Fort Campbell, but USO, we're a global organization. And so I may be here at an actual military installation, but we are able to assist you no matter where you're located. And that's a beautiful thing, right? Sometimes we get relocated to these kind of remote out there locations, and we're happy to help build connections and help you plan for what's next around that location. Yeah, just want to reiterate what Danielle said, right? We're always having to build our network as we relocate so often. And LinkedIn is a great place to do that virtually. And that can continue to carry over as you relocate. And hopefully you don't feel like you have to start over every time you move.
Well, it's amazing resources for military spouses. I just wanted to tell you both, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I can. We have a ton of comments, a lot of people tagging and sharing, and it's really amazing to see the engagement here on this video today. And so if you are watching, I just want to encourage you, if you have any questions for these ladies while I have them on the line, drop them in the comments. I will make sure that they answer your questions as best as possible. And then even if you're watching a little bit later, go ahead and ask the questions, and I'll make sure that they receive them and can answer them for you. Additionally, I've included a link to the USO Pathfinder Transition page on their website so that you can go in there, find it, sign up, and get involved with your local program. Do you have any recommendations if, let's say, you are in a transition period, whether you are PCSing, relocating to a new place, or maybe transitioning out of your role as a military spouse and going to become a veteran spouse? Do you have any tips for military spouses in those transition periods of life?
Honestly, our tip is come to us. And I love that Lauren mentioned, you know, we are global. It doesn't matter where you are. Don't let that be a limitation in your mind. I know sometimes we find ourselves in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't matter where you are. Come to us. Just really can't emphasize that enough. And we pride ourselves on our signature approach being highly personalized and one-on-one. I mean, so not to brag, right? But it doesn't get much better than that, because it's just really taking into the understanding how everyone's journey is unique, and that includes the mil spouse journey. So just come to us so that, as Lauren mentioned, we'll line you up with the right resources that are the best fit for you based off of your needs. And the other thing that I'll say, just to add on there, is, we're just so fortunate, to be at the USO and be a trusted organization in this space to help be that critical connector and to say, hey, you can trust that all of these programs are wonderful and will meet your needs. And, beyond that, we also want to make it easy on you. There are a lot of resources out there, as there should be, for our spouses. And so we want to make sure that you have an easy way to access them. So instead of you running around to, 50 different places or trying to check out a million websites, let us help you. Know that we've done a lot of that legwork for you. And again, we just really want to make things easy for you. So I think that's a good time to also mention our MVP calendar. Lauren, if you want to tell people about that and where they can find it.
Yeah, so USO has really kicked off our military virtual programming, which is so great. You can see everything from USO holiday events to entertainment events, and then things specific to the transition space. And so if you go to uso.org/MVP, you get to see all things upcoming. There are previous events on there. You can watch recordings. It's a great space to connect with us, learn a little bit more about what we do outside of, maybe airports and local centers, and learn about some other resources.
Awesome. I'm typing in that URL now, and I'm going to drop it in the comments for you if you're watching so that you can find it. Then I wanted to kind of get ready to close out our chat today by, I hope this doesn't start making noise. Hold on. Don't touch buttons while you're on live. But I want to sort of close out our chat today by if you can tell a story, a specific story of how a spouse or a soldier, whoever it may, a veteran, pardon me, I'm Army, has gone through USO Pathfinder Transition and found success.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to let Lauren share a story because she's, definitely on the front lines. But before she does that, I just wanted to say, you mentioned, and I'll be honest, I'm not watching. So I'm not seeing like the live stuff come in on LinkedIn. First time, guys. But I'm so glad that you said that and that there are lots of people reacting. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us. But I also wanted to mention, follow our hashtag in LinkedIn. Follow hashtag USO Transitions. It's a great way to not just hear and see about the things that we're doing, but more importantly, hear from others, hear from other mil spouses and other service members who have accessed our programs, hear what they have to say about it, and just kind of stay up to speed. And as we like to call it, join our community. Follow the hashtag, join us for an online program. We'd love to have you and have you join our community. So hashtag USO Transitions. And again, thanks everyone for all the love, all the comments. And I'll let Lauren hopefully close us out with a story, as you mentioned, Jaime.
Thanks. Yeah, USO is all about stories. We love to share the impact we're able to make here. There's so many that come to mind. It's almost hard to choose one. But I think, one of the greatest experiences I've been able to see as a transition specialist is working with a spouse who is brand new to the Army. I pretty much only deal with Army because that's where my husband is, and so we get stationed at Army installations. So Jaime, I often say soldier and catch myself having to say service member instead. But I worked with a very young new military spouse, which was me not so long ago. And we got her connected to a remote employer right off the bat. So she will never at this point have to experience, having to say goodbye to a job because she can't work from anywhere. And then we also got her connected to some non-employment resources, right? We talk a little bit about mentorship, and so connecting her to other opportunities to build her network here locally with other military spouses who've walked the walk a little bit and can provide some really great resources. So she's successfully employed, and she has a professional network that she's building and a personal network to support all aspects of her life. And it's great, just last piece I want to add, Danielle talked about make it easier for you. And you get that when you come and meet one-on-one. You get an action plan, and it's a tangible checklist that is the personalized resources that we've recommended to you. It's accessible on the USO app on your mobile device, and it is literally a list that keeps you on track, allows you to check things off. Remember, who is that person, Lauren told me to talk to, or what was that website or that organization, and just allow you to cross things off and continue to plan for what's next and get one step closer to those goals.
That's awesome. I wish as a new military spouse, I would have known to do that, because going jobless and having to struggle building a professional and a personal network is really hard. And USO gives you a life hack, I guess. Go to USO, visit with your transition specialist, and get set up from the get-go. That's awesome. Ladies, I appreciate both of you. Thank you so much for your time today and for your wisdom and for everything that the USO does. And I would love to have you back on at some point in time, because USO provides such impact to military spouses. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.